I'd love to share some. And what's amazing about some of these principles I'm going to share is that they've been learned from other successful people. Now, some have been developed, but I'm a real big believer of, being able to learn from others. So I encourage you guys, if any of these stick out to you, to run with them yourself. But before I do, I just want to add on that, we have a huge problem in the country today. And as real estate investors, operators, and developers, we are making a huge, massive difference because over a recent article came out, Wall Street Journal, a very big study was done that conservatively, there's a need for 5.5 million more housing units today, right now.
Yeah.
And those would have normally been built between 2010 and 2021. However, because all those builders got wiped out and there was a big fear that was going on, we did not develop at the same rate that we normally do. So we have a huge housing crisis and there's a big need. Well, further, when it comes to that rent piece you're talking about, millennials are renting at the highest time in history. And it's expected that although they're moving into a place where they're starting to buy single family homes, that because they are one of the largest or are the largest generation, that based on their new habits, they're going to continue to rent for their entire life. And more seniors than ever are renting and choosing to rent for some of those same reasons. So it's a huge opportunity. And with that, what I really look for as one of my core principles, I'm a real big believer in this because it was something that I had to shift my whole way of thinking because it wasn't always a core focus for me, but it's this idea of living like and as a go-giver. And what that means is there's a phenomenal book, The Go-Giver. I highly recommend everyone read it. If you haven't, read it twice. But it's phenomenal because this whole concept is that by giving without the expectation of receiving, you actually will receive more in the long run. Maybe not right then, maybe not from that person, but overall coming with that view, you're going to end up living a much happier life. And when I changed my view to thinking about, hey, how can I give? How can I deliver value? How can I ask other people how I can help support their mission? And going into every conversation and connection with that in mind, I'm able to live such a much better and more enjoyable life as a result.
So true. So very true, Stephen. What you said, I'm very much aligned like you, by saying, paying gratitude, giving the best to everybody above you, sideways, below, everywhere, all around. If you're the best possible Pygmalion, which is spreading knowledge, spreading, positivity, spreading, all the best things we could do to make a win-win-win situation, right? With the brokers, with investors, with vendors, with everybody. It just helps the whole economy, get into sync with the, positive and all that. But let me ask you a question. What are some of the apps I always ask, because a lot of people are trying to say, okay, which app or what kind of productivity tools can I implement? And they are thinking about, some are using, some are not using. What kind of productivity tools you're using, now?
Yeah, well, very good question. I think one tool that I absolutely love is a tool called Freedom app. And it's a tool you download on your computer or your phone. And what it allows you to do is you actually set focus time. And it shuts your internet off. It shuts off the ability to go to certain web pages or to open your email or to open certain applications. And what's beautiful about this is in a time in society where we're so addicted to our technology, it sometimes takes using technology to prevent us from breaking a habit. Prevent us from keeping that habit going and be able to break our concentration. And so by using an application like this, you literally download on your computer. It's phenomenal. You can hit 90-minute session, and then it won't allow you to open up distracting pages. It won't allow you to open up applications, because we all know that moment in time where we've opened up our email to send something or to say something, and the next thing we know, we've been spending 30 minutes going through emails when our intention was to continue to go into that deep work. So I think the more time we can spend intentionally planning out our day and working in deep work, the bigger an impact we're going to make and the better we're going to feel. Because when we're reacting to everything that's happening all the time, we don't really ever feel like we accomplished much, versus when we're intentional and we go out and we're able to then deliver that value to ourselves, to our clients, and to others by having that focused work.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing those great nuggets, Stephen. What may be the last, as we wrap up the interview, what would you say to somebody who is just thinking about starting a business or getting into real estate? What should they do? And most of the people are already in a W-2 job, I find, or they're doing certain things. What would you say they should do, which can take them to a new level?
Well, I think one of the core things that I learned from interviewing hundreds and studying thousands of these successful people in the world is that they all have hired or attracted amazing mentors, coaches, and partners into their life. And so when I say that, as a high performance coach, I work with a very limited number of very successful people. You might think to yourself, hey, well, you're selling your profession. Well, the truth is 99% of people listening would not qualify to work with me. So I'm really sharing this because at the core, it's the biggest single thing that made a difference for me. And so what's the difference between a mentor and a coach? Well, a mentor is somebody who's already been down the path that you want to go. They can light the way for you, can step in their footsteps, and you can know that you're going to end up getting to that same end destination that person went. They've had that experience. They've lived in the trenches and they're able to pass that along to you. A coach is somebody who has a phenomenal ability to pull the most out of people. There's somebody who may have been down that path. They may have been down the same path that you want to go down. However, they do not necessarily need to in order to get the most out of you. You think any great athlete or anybody who is trying to be the best at anything. Great example, Michael Jordan had 7 different coaches at any given point during his career. We all know about his head coach, Phil. And what was Phil the best at? Phil was not the best person on the field. He was not the mentor to go shoot the shots, but he was the best person to ask the questions, to do the drills, and to help make sure he could get the most out of that person. So you've got to understand for yourself, well, how can I go to the next level? And do I need the specific strategies and a path forward, and I'm going to follow in that person's footsteps? Or do I need someone who's going to get the most out of me? And usually the answer is both. Usually the answer is both. And it's rare to find someone who is both for you. And so oftentimes it's about investing and attracting those people into your world so that you can do those things. And I mentioned partner, and partner is an important thing to understand as well, because when you partner with experts, it's the fastest way to success, because you're able to leverage all of their experience, their expertise. And when you can align your interests through a true partnership, like we do in the syndication space with these limited partners, general partners, you can then take all of their expertise and their time and leverage it with whatever it is that you're bringing to the table. So that's the biggest thing that I would tell anyone who wants to be successful, who already is successful or wants to go to that next level, is go find great mentors, great coaches, and great partners to really build quality relationships so that you can make a bigger impact in the world. And it's worked for me, and I know it's worked for you, Vinney, too.
Yes, it definitely has. I was telling somebody this morning, I was interviewed. I said, if I had not invested, it sounded like a lot of money, but now what I'm doing right now, it was minuscule. It was such a small thing, but I am where I am, and probably you are too, and other people who are high performers, they really got some great mentors to pave the way. And then you break open the shackles and get out, and then you are able to, take on that big journey. It's been such a pleasure, Stephen. Thank you so much for joining me today. And again, how can people reach you, please?
I think the best way to reach me is go over, since you're listening on podcast, go search Investor Mindset Podcast on your favorite app. Go and listen to us, dive in, and enjoy more content there. The second best way is head over to your favorite social media app, search Steven.Pesavento. Instagram is where I hang out. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you loved about today's session. Let me know that you listened to Vinney. And then, of course, don't forget about grabbing the 5 success principles at investormindset.com/success. Thanks for listening, you guys. But most importantly, I want to ask you to go take some action based on what we said. What is valuable and how can you apply it in your own life?
Excellent, excellent. No, thank you so much, Stephen. Hey guys, thank you again. You know, if you like the content like we have been bringing to you, please like us, comment, share this podcast with other people who can really find value in it. Remember, we are not selling any securities. These are just the, information, entertainment purposes only. And but please do give 5-star reviews, written reviews, if you wouldn't mind, and also on iTunes, so that we can bring great guests for you. And thank you so much for joining, for your time, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks so much.